Hello everyone and welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to be talking about Splatoon 3 and everything we know so far as of the 4th of July 2022. So starting off with the story mode main campaign. In Splatoon 3 story mode, we will take control of Agent 3 and fight against the evil Octarian army alongside the new Squidbeak Splatoon in Splatoon 3 story mode. We will also discover the secrets of Alterna, the fuzzy ooze, and how it connects to the mode's main theme, being the return of the mammalians, from the previous trailers that we've seen so far. The game takes place 1.5 years after the final Splatfest from Splatoon 2, obviously being Chaos vs Order. The outcome of the Splatfest is likely the reason the game's design is themed around chaos, which is awesome in my opinion. I love the post-apocalyptic feel of Splatoon 3. So far it is implied that mammals besides Judd and Little Judd will appear. You guys will remember them as the cats who referee turf war matches. So far we've seen a few mutated enemies, which include mutated Octo troopers with brown fur. We've also seen Octarians in general with fur on their sort of tentacles. It looks very odd. I know people are saying that this is very odd, but you can actually have squids in real life that have fur on them. This is what the sort of theming has been inspired off for Splatoon 3. However, many other Octarians do make an appearance, such as Octopods, Octostamps, and DJ Octavio himself, which is the sort of main villain from 1 and 2. The story takes place in a new location called Alterna, and Splatsville being the new main hub area. Alterna is a large snowy area littered with fuzzy ooze. It also contains a rocket ship and a portable research lab where Callie, Marie and Captain Cuttlefish, and the new captain being Agent 3 from the first 2 games, where they essentially make themselves at home and their base of operations. We've also seen a dark mirrored city and a neon lit area with traditional Japanese items floating around in the background. Our character is an Inkling recruited by the new Squidbeak Splatoon, specifically the Squid Sisters, and the new captain being Agent 3, as the former Agent 3 from the previous games is now the captain of the group following Captain Cuttlefish's retirement, so he's no longer the captain of the Splatoon essentially. Next up, I'm going to list off the returning characters. At this time, the following characters are known to be in Splatoon 3 in some way, shape or form. Agent 3, who's our new Inkling that we create in Splatoon 3. The player's little buddy, which is essentially a small fry. You might have seen these guys previously from Salmon Run, as they were an enemy, but they now seem to be a companion which can attack enemies and hopefully help us find items. The Squid Sisters being Callie, who's known as Agent 1, and Marie, who's also known as Agent 2. The captain, who's essentially the former Agent 3 from Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, also being a boss in the Octo expansion, who is the new leader of the group. You have Craig Cuttlefish, who is essentially Captain Cuttlefish from the previous games, DJ Octavio, the Octarians, Judd and Little Judd, Inklings, Octolings, Salmonoids, and Off the Hook, which is essentially Marina and Pearl. But I'm thinking that potentially because of the Splatfest, which has resulted in Splatoon 3, obviously being Marina being Order, Pearl being Chaos, I'm secretly thinking that one of them could be an antagonist or a rival in the story. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but it's certainly exciting nonetheless. Next up, I'm going to be talking about new multiplayer stages. So let's start off with Mincemeat Metalworks. This stage was made from scrap metal in order to make more scrap metal. There used to be a sea here, but it is evaporated, leaving behind a desert wasteland. Next up we have Undertow Spillway. This is a former flood bypass located deep underneath Splatsville. Abandoned for years, it surged in popularity after it was renovated into a stage for turf war battles. Next up we have Eeltail Alley. Alleyways in the middle of the new Splatsville essentially, which is very reminiscent of past sort of stages from Splatoon 1 and 2. Next up we have Scorched Gorge, which is essentially desert plains with skulls, cliffs and scrap metal. This was the first ever multiplayer stage shown off for Splatoon 3, you know, that desert map they showed off. And finally, it is my great pleasure to announce Museum del Alfonso, which is a multiplayer stage returning from Splatoon 1, and it's returning here in Splatoon 3. It takes place in a courtyard of an art museum, the defining feature of this stage being 5 rotating platforms, which are central into navigating the stage and can cause lots of mayhem as well. So far, Turf War and Salmon Run the Next Wave, which I'll explain in a bit more detail in a moment, are the only online multiplayer modes that have been confirmed as of today. There are also no known changes to the rules of Turf War in Splatoon 3, besides the addition of spawner drones, where essentially we can choose where we spawn. It's in the trailer where they're sort of like little cannons, spawn cannons that sort of shoot you onto the stage, which look really cool. Next up, we have Salmon Run the Next Wave. So far, we only have one stage confirmed for Salmon Run, being Sockeye Station, a new stage in the Salmon Run Next Wave mode with a similar aesthetic to past Salmon Run stages from Splatoon 2. Next Wave is a co-op multiplayer mode in Splatoon 3 for up to 4 players. It is a sequel to obviously Salmon Run in Splatoon 2 and was revealed on the 9th of February during that Nintendo Direct. It is presumed that the rules will not change and that most boss salmonids will return from Splatoon 2, as well as some new ones as well, which we've already seen. There's that one where it's got like a pole and then they're sort of spinning around the top, which looks awesome. A new feature being the egg throw has also been added. We can use ink to throw held eggs to other teammates to put them in the basket, obviously gaining more eggs, which gains more money and more points. Additionally, any gold eggs thrown at the baskets will be inserted automatically. We can also use squid rolls seen in previous trailers, which essentially means we'll have more traversal options. The main antagonist seems to be a giant salmonid similar to Kohook, which but a lot larger to be honest, with white eyes and a metal chain round its neck. This boss salmonid was referred to as a king salmonid by Nintendo. Next up, I'd like to talk about returning and brand new weapons being in Splatoon 3. One new weapon type is the new bow that we've seen in the cover art and all the new trailers, being the Stinger, of which one known weapon type is the Tri-Stinger. Once charged, it fires 3 strings of ink simultaneously. We also have confirmation that all main weapons and sub-weapons from previous games being 1 and 2 will return as confirmed by both Nintendo Japan, America and Europe, which is just awesome. We've also seen some unidentified weapons that can be seen in Splatfill's Ammo Night store as well. This is the shop with Sheldon where you can buy new weapons and upgrade current weapons as well. A new sub-weapon named the Angle Shooter was revealed. It is thrown at a straight line, bouncing off any surface and leaving behind a trail of ink. We also have a new special weapon being the Crab Tank, which is essentially a mechanical crab robot that can transform into a ball and shoot ink. We also have a new grappling hook type special weapon called the Zipcaster, which was that sort of weird like ink grab seen in all the last trailers. Using it, we can grapple to walls and other surfaces and attack with essentially our main weapon as well. And also we have a missile special weapon called the Triple Ink Strike, which has been added. We can launch 3 small ink strike like missiles, and it throws 3 beacons as well, so it causes a lot of sort of aerial mayhem whilst also controlling the ground combat as well, which is just awesome. Next up, I'd like to talk about the music in the game. Now, it's no stranger that Splatoon's music in general just is host to some absolute bangers. And we've seen in the announcement trailer for the game that it contains a new remix of Splat Attack, which is essentially the main theme for the past 2 games, and I'm happy to report that it is returning in Splatoon 3 with a new sort of chaos twist to it. Speaking of which, these new remixes suggest that Splatoon 3 will have a new theme in music, being rock and roll, which suits the post-apocalyptic chaos theme as well, going off the last Splatfest in Splatoon 2. We also have new music from bands in games such as Seaside, Turquoise October, Front Row, and obviously the returning Off the Hook and the Squid Sisters being Callie and Marie. Next up, I'd like to talk about customization of our Inklings in Splatoon 3. Finally, the genders of the Inklings and Octolings are no longer explicitly stated. Instead, the player selects a style, which is also cool because it shows that they are being inclusive and giving players more options. Additionally, Octolings can now be selected from the start of the game, rather than obviously having to pay for the DLC. In Splatoon 3, we will be able to select 2 new skin tones, lots of new hairstyles, 11 new eye colours and styles, and more clothing than both previous games combined. We can also now customise eyebrow shapes as well. Additionally, a new feature of customizable banners has been added, displaying the player's username alongside changeable titles and backgrounds, like in most online shooter games. These banners are displayed in certain situations, such as at the start and the end of battles. Wrapping up this video, I'd like to talk about Splatoon 3's release date and release window. Splatoon 3 will be out for Friday the 9th of September 2022 and will cost £50 or $60 if you're over in the States. Also, speaking of which, as of recording this video on July 4th, Splatoon 3 is currently only 67 days away, which is awesome. I'm so glad that we're finally getting this game. I think Splatoon has had a really nice home on the Wii U and the Switch, and it's just a brilliant game to summarise modern Nintendo. Although Splatoon does have its problems with sort of things like hosting matches with your friends, being able to invite your friends and things like that, and obviously using the Nintendo app to invite people, which is very annoying. I think Splatoon 3 has built an amazing world, bright and colourful characters, amazing music, and it's an amazing addition to the Nintendo portfolio, which I'm hoping continues into the far future. Anyway everyone, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Goodbye for now, and if you want more Splatoon content, stay subscribed to my channel and don't forget to like this video and share it with more people so they stay in the loop with when it comes to Splatoon 3. Thank you very much for watching, bye guys.